Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Mastermind. I'm Paul Baxter, Implementation Coach for the Mortgage Mastermind Group. I am definitely here to help you grow. Guys, we are talking specifically this month about presentations, all the different types, lunch and learns, coffee committees, breakfast appreciation, breakfast, you name it. We've talked about the different types of presentations. We've talked about what you do, how your presentations go. We've even put together a follow-up plan for after you've done a presentation. And so what we're going to focus on today is how do you promote these things? How do you get the butts in the seat? And I apologize for that expression, but that's really, what you're looking to do is you're trying to fill these seats. And again, it kind of goes back when we talked about it. I want to make sure I reiterate this. You're looking to get 10 to 12 or 15 people into a room. You don't want these 30 or 40 or 50 people presentations, because those kind of presentations, and don't get me wrong, if you're doing CE stuff, that's a great thing to be doing, and getting 30 or 40 people in a room is never a bad thing. However, for the types of presentations that we're talking about, you really only want 10 or 15 people in a room because you want that opportunity to bond with people. You need that opportunity to have that smaller, tight-knit group that gives people, it takes away the apprehension of some people of engaging with you or sharing their stories or sharing their experiences with what you're presenting. And it gives you an opportunity to engage with the people who are there and really develop a bond with those people. The whole point of this is to give you an opportunity. Again, I can't reiterate enough. By doing a presentation, you are not going to get a loan just because you did a presentation. You have to have a good follow-up plan in place, and you have to develop a relationship to be able to create a referral partner. What presentations does is it gives you a better opportunity for developing that relationship and bonding, because those people that are there that are present at your presentations see you as an expert. And that gives you a leg up when you're calling on them or you sit down face to face. They already have a feeling about who you are. You've already created a feeling within them that you're an expert on something. And now it's just a matter of developing that relationship to get them to know, trust, and like you. And that's what it's all about. So how do you get butts in the seat? How do you get people to your presentations? And I just kind of covered this stuff. We covered in depth the different types of presentations. We've set up a follow-up plan to get loans from our presentations once we do them. We've talked about what to present. Heck, we even have a couple of, last Friday we did a done-for-you presentation that you could literally take. I didn't put any of the Mortgage Mastermind Group branding on that presentation so that it can be yours. You can take that, turn it into literally just download it, change the couple of places that I have marked in red on the presentation to your specific contact information and your name, brand it to you, and it's a presentation ready to go. So now how do you get those partner prospects to actually show up for your presentation? Well, there are several ways that you can promote your presentation event. We are going to focus on just 4 of these ways. Again, there's lots of ways you can do it. We're going to focus on 4 ways and I'm going to give you steps on each one of these 4 ways so that you can make this happen and you can start promoting your presentations and get people there. The title of the presentation that's done for you, James, is called How to Use Facebook to Farm Your Neighborhood. How to use Facebook to farm your neighborhood. You're going to find that under the Top Producer Archive section on the Mortgage Mastermind Group site. Again, that's in the Mortgage Mastermind Group site in the Top Producer Archives, and it's called How to Use Facebook to Farm Your Neighborhood. And then on Monday's open discussion class, we kind of opened up the Mortgage Mastermind Group site and we dove in, and I showed you that on the Daily Mastermind Archive, there are no less than 30 presentations or 30 classes that are on there that you could take and convert that PowerPoint for those classes to be a presentation to real estate agents. So there are a lot of done-for-you presentations that you can take, but and have presentations. Shoot, you could have an entire year's worth of presentations just on the material that's already on the archive site. But again, that one, how to use Facebook to farm your neighborhood, that's completely done for you already. There's nothing, the only thing you've got to edit is put your name in there where the red X's are, and you're good to go. All right, so the 4 ways that we're going to focus on for promoting our events is co-sponsoring with a partner. We're going to talk about how to use Facebook ads to target your audience. We're going to talk about email campaign to your partner prospect list. And we're going to talk about the good old-fashioned belly-to-belly invite. You know, getting face-to-face, getting belly-to-belly with folks. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's start with the co-sponsor your presentation with a partner. This is a great way to tap into your partner's database of real estate agents. Especially for you guys that don't have a big list of real estate agents, this is probably, if you don't have a big list or a good list of real estate agents in your local area, this is definitely the way you're going to want to go, because you don't have to have a list to be able to do presentations if you're working with a co-sponsor, because it's their list that's going to fill the seats, right? You're the one that's providing the content. They're going to provide the warm bodies in a seat. You can also offset the cost of your presentations if you're co-sponsoring with a partner, like a lunch and learn. You know, if you're doing $10 a head, you're talking about $150 if you get 15 people in there, plus your tip. So you're talking about $200 or so, or $180 or so if you do a 20% tip. And by the way, I absolutely, if you're going to do lunch and learns at a local restaurant, make sure you over tip your service staff, tip your hostess, tip whoever you can, because you want them to recognize you. You want them to see you as, man, I love it when this guy comes in. You don't want to be a burden on the restaurant. Trust me, as someone that comes from a lot of experience in the restaurant business, there is nothing worse than having seminars or presentations at your restaurant when the person doing it's adverse. They don't have the type of respect needed at that restaurant, and what happens is when you do that, or if you get into that situation, the restaurant does not take care of you in the same way as if you were a person that they absolutely loved seeing. They dread seeing you there. Your tables, you'll get, things are set up kind of, I apologize for the expression, it's the only one I know, half-ass. I mean, that's just the way it is in the restaurant business, and it's not right, it's not the right way to, it just is the nature of the restaurant business. Make them feel like they want you there, because that will definitely affect your actual presentation if you're doing lunch and learns. And you can offset that cost if you're doing it with a partner. If you're doing, something at an office and you're bringing in snacks or gizmos to hand out, like we talked about last week, when we talked about the extras at presentations, having the little tchotchkes that you can pass around for prizes as you're creating the engagement with the crowd. You can offset the cost of those things. If you're doing a cocktail committee where you're bringing people into your office and you're doing a cocktail party where you do a little 15-minute presentation to them, you can offset the cost of the booze, beer, and wine with your partners. So it's a good thing to do. Potential partners for this kind of thing, title companies are by far the best, because and insurance companies are a very, very close second. The reality of it is both of those groups of people, their prospects, their targets, they are looking for ways, just like you are as a loan officer. Your title companies and your insurance companies are looking for ways to get in front of real estate agents. They're looking for ways to provide value to the real estate agents that give them an opportunity to, or reasons to follow up. Their marketing strategy is almost the same as what your marketing strategy is. Get in front of the real estate agents, develop the relationship, ask for the business. Title companies, insurance companies are great for that. Appraisal companies, another one that people tend to think, not remember, because there's that little bit of animosity that goes between the two. But the reality is, as appraisal company, they need more real estate agents referring them or hiring them to come in and get things done. So those are great partners. Another good partner that some of you may not have thought about are your business-to-business partners. For those of you that are working a business-to-business strategy, your local restaurateurs. They would love to partner with you, and a lot of times if you partner with a restaurant and they get that opportunity to co-sponsor with you and have their logo and things like that when you're announcing and inviting, you're going to get a discount on items, things like that. Your salons, your wine stores, your florists, all are looking for reasons and ways to get more people into their shops, into their places of business, and partnering with you doing a presentation is a great way to do that. Now, please keep in mind those the business-to-business partners aren't going to help you grow their list. They're not going to be somebody that you can tap into their database because their database is very different than what you're prospecting for. We're not talking about consumer direct on these presentations. We are going to cover that next week. This week, right now, what we're focused on is the presentation to potential referral partners. Okay? So the key to co-sponsoring is to have your ducks in a row before you approach the co-sponsor. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to win, if you want to actually do presentations, have everything in place before you approach the co-sponsor. The approach is face-to-face. Do not try to get a co-sponsor over the phone or via email. Don't just pick out 15 title companies and send them an email saying you want to co-sponsor. It's not going to work. This is a face-to-face thing that you're looking to do. It also gets you out and about and gives you an opportunity to walk into to your title rep or your insurance company, and that's always a good thing. You want to make this approach in a face-to-face way. But again, make sure all of your ducks are in a row before you approach them. Have a date for your presentation before you approach the partner. Have the time of your presentation and how long you will present before you approach the partner. Have the subject you'll be presenting before you approach the partner, especially if it's the first time you're approaching them about it. Now, in subsequent, once you've got a partner and you've done a presentation with them, and let's say you want to do another one for the next month, you don't necessarily have to have the subject for the second presentation ready to go, but you do need to have a date and a time in mind. If you intend to do a series of presentations, have those dates and times ready to go before you approach the partner. You have to have those things in place before you approach them because it's all in how you present it to get them to say yes. And here is a very simple little script that you can use to present to potential partners. Hey, Freddie McTitle, I'm going to be doing a lunch and learn presentation for local real estate agents on how to use Facebook to farm a neighborhood. It's an hour-long presentation, and I'm going to be doing it on January 6th at noon. I would love to partner with you on it. By co-sponsoring the event with me, you get your name and company will be on all the marketing materials used to fill the seats, as well as an opportunity to give a short commercial to the attendees. Would you like to co-sponsor the January event with me? Now, that sounds very, very different than, hey, Freddie McTitle, I'm thinking about doing a lunch and learn for some local real estate agents and teaching maybe a Facebook class. I'm thinking like an hour-long presentation. Would you like to co-sponsor it with me? I'm going to tell you what you get if you approach it that way. Approaching the potential partners in this way makes it very easy for them to give you a yes or a no. There's no, yeah, sounds like a good idea. Let me know if when you want to do. If you approach them without the date already determined or a subject already in mind or a specific time for the event, the answer is going to be, oh, that sounds like a good idea. We may be interested. I'll call and let you know if we can co-sponsor with you, and guess what's going to happen? You're never going to get a phone call. Out of sight, out of mind. But if you give them specifics, I'm going to be doing this on this date at this time. It's going to take this long. I'd love for you to co-sponsor it with me. That's yes or no. It's not that, yeah, we may be interested. We'll get together. Let me know when, and maybe we can get together on it. That's a maybe. You know, we're salespeople, and I'm sure you have all heard this before. It bears repeating though. Yes, we can live with yes or no. It's maybe that kills us. Those maybes will make you chase and chase and chase. If it's a yes, awesome. If it's a no, cool, move on to the next. But at least you know you're not sitting there chasing a ghost, as it were, because you don't have anything specific to get them to commit to. If you give them the information that they want, if you give them everything they need by having the details already done, date, time, subject, they're forced to say yes or no. They're either going to agree to it or they're going to decline the opportunity. Either way, you know where you stand. You know whether or not you need to move on to the next potential partner, and that's what you need. You don't need the maybes. The partner prospect is also much more likely to agree if you have the details work out. It becomes a really easy yes, and it all stems from having all of your ducks in a row. Don't approach a potential partner unless you have these pieces to the puzzle in place. Have your date, have your time, have your subject on the first one ready to go so that you can present them something very specific and ask for a very specific thing. That's much easier to get a yes that way, because likely is if you don't have those things in place, you're going to get a maybe, and then you're going to spend your time chasing that person around and no presentation will ever get done. Have that information ready to go, have a specific date and time ready to go so that they can either say yes, they'd like to co-sponsor with you, no, they would not like to co-sponsor with you. Okay? Facebook ads to your target audience. This is a great way to get agents you do not know to attend, because you can do some cool targeting through the demographics of Facebook and specifically target real estate agents. Then break it down even further to agents only within your market area, or if you want to expand your market area, you can certainly do that as well. You do not need to have squeeze pages and funnels to invite with this message. Most of the time when we talk about Facebook ads and getting people to respond or take an action on our Facebook ads, we talk about having a squeeze page and having a sales funnel that filters them through to convert them to a sale. This is a little bit different because it's a direct invitation to a presentation. You don't need to have the invites and the squeeze pages and the funnels already done. You just need to set up your ad to where they understand exactly what the best way to RSVP is. So you're going to start, and here's my recommendation on how to do this. As you guys know, there are lots of ways to accomplish Facebook ads. For your invite, this is how I specifically recommend that you do it. You're going to start by making a post on your fan page. Now, you may even want to create a fan page that is real estate training specific. So my fan page name is Paul's Agent Training Station. That's different than Paul Baxter Mortgage Lender page. That's different than the Paul Baxter Mortgage Lender page. This is the Paul's Agent Training Station page. You may think about doing that. It's not necessary to get people there, but it's one of those extra steps that you can take to brand yourself as that trainer guy, to entice the agents to know, hey, this guy's training. He's got a whole training station going. So you're going to make a post about your event. Give enough information to pique their interest. Remember, it's about the benefits, not the features. Okay, so my post would say, attention Bay Area real estate agents. Do you use social media to farm for more business? Statistics show 78% of online adults in America are active on Facebook. Join me on Tuesday, January 6th from 12 to 1 p.m. at Positano's Italian Restaurant on Tampa Road. I will be showing you step by step exactly how to use Facebook to farm your neighborhoods. This event is limited to 15 seats, so I'm kind of taking it away. I'm giving exclusivity during it. To save your seat, please RSVP at paulb@mortgagemastermindgroup.com or call me and my phone number. And then I just grabbed a Facebook image off of Google that was Facebook Marketing Success Secrets. That's what I'm trying to relay to them, is that I'm going to give them some success secrets on how to use Facebook to farm their neighborhood, right? That's what I'm trying to do, so that image supports the message here. And again, this is a post on Paul's Agent Training Station page. Once I've got that post, I'm going to go into my ads manager and I'm going to actually create the ad. To create the ad, the ads type I use is boost your posts. That's why I post it on my page first, because now when I go into ads, I can do a boost your post. What this allows me to do is it allows me to write up my complete message and not have to worry about 25 characters, 90 characters, 155 characters. I don't have to worry about that. I'm promoting an actual post which has unlimited characters. I can tell my entire story, paint my entire picture. I can show them the actual benefit. 78% of online adults in America are active on Facebook. And then join me. I will be showing you step by step exactly how to use Facebook to farm your neighborhoods, right? And then I give some explicitity so I can paint the entire picture and tell them exactly what I want. So you're going to boost your post. When you do that, the first thing it's going to take you to is to select the page that your post is on. And so if your page doesn't pop up right away, just start typing it in and you'll see your page there, and you click on your page. Now once you click on your page, it's going to then ask you to select which post you want to promote or boost. By default, it is the most recent post that you made on that page. So if you have, you made your post and made another post and another post, or Hootsuite posted for you, and you need to find it, there is a little drop down. So make a post valuable to your event, or a post about your event. That's the post that I made on this page already. But if it was not, I can simply drop down this menu and select from any of the posts. And typically what it does is it'll give you the first sentence of your post, so you know what post looks like. Once you've selected what post you're going to use, you simply click Continue. When you click Continue, you're going to be taken to, you'll see your stuff above, and just scroll down that just a little bit. It tells you what page and that you're doing boosting your post. And just below that is step 2, which is create your ad set. Who do you want your ads to reach? That's the first part, that you're going to actually do something inside of ads. And what you're going to do is start with your location. If you type in your city name that's near you, it'll pop that up, and when you select it, by default, it selects it at 25-mile radius. Now, as you can see, I like to change mine to a 50-mile radius, just because I know my area well enough to know that in the Palm Harbor area, if I select a 50-mile radius, I'm encompassing Clearwater, St. Petersburg, the greater Tampa Bay area, as well as some areas a little bit north of me called Newport Richey. So I'm encompassing a very large area. 50 miles is a pretty good area, but for my area, it encompasses the entire Tampa Bay region. That's all that Tampa Bay region is a 50-mile area. I'm not looking to go down into Sarasota. I'm not looking to go up into Hudson. I'm not looking to go over into Orlando. I want to focus on the Tampa Bay market area. And so I select that 50 miles. Now, by default, again, it's going to start you at 25 miles. You'll see a little drop-down thing over here on the right side where you drop that down, and you'll have the options of no mile radius, 25-mile radius, all the way out to 50 miles is the max. Okay. The second thing I do is I change my age criteria. By default, with ads, your minimum age you can show ads to is 18. So it starts on that by default to 65 plus. I don't think there are any real estate agents that are 18 years old, and if there are, I probably don't want to work with them. So I set my minimum at about 24. That's just after college age. They may be a year into it, or they may be new. Depends on what kind of person. But I don't want to disclude anybody just because they're a young real estate agent. So I include 24 to 65 plus, which means 65 plus means 24 and anybody above that is what that 65 plus means. The third section you're going to edit is the more demographics. When you drop down more demographics, you're going to get this list over here on the left. You're then going to hover over work. When you hover over work, it's going to give you the 4 options for the different works, and you want to select job titles. Okay, so setting your demographics, again, you set your area, set your age, go to more demographics, work, and then job titles. Once you get to job titles, you're going to type into the box that's provided just the word real estate, and then you're going to type in the word realtor. There are 3 options for the real estate as a job title. When you type in real estate, you'll have 2 options, real estate broker / agent and real estate broker. Yes, I did it twice and selected both of those groups because, yes, I want brokers to see my ad. Maybe they take my ad and announce it in their meeting in the morning, or maybe they encourage some agents to, hey, you need to check this out. This guy's going to be doing a presentation on so-and-so. So I like the brokers. Broker agent, obviously, and then realtor was by itself. So between those 3 groups, a 50-mile radius around Palm Harbor, I am targeting 3,600 people with my ad. Now, before I added any of these demographics, I started at 150 million people. When I added Palm Harbor, I whittled that down to about 700,000 people, or a little over 1 million people with my 50-mile radius. Then when I changed 24, I whittled that down to about 700,000, and then I added my 3 criteria that their job title must be real estate broker / agent, real estate broker, or realtor. That gives me 3,600 people to market my advertisement to. The next step is to set your budget and name your advertisement. I always recommend that you name your ad set, because when you're going through the reports and you're looking at the statistics of how your ad performed, you really want it to be easy for you to figure out which ad is doing which ad is targeted to which group of people, and by giving it a specific name, that allows you to do that. You also want to set your budget. By default, the minimum budget is $5 a day. There is no top-end budget. I recommend, guys, at first, and in the beginning especially, remember, you're looking for 10 or 15 people. So I recommend set your budget low in the beginning to see what kind of results you're going to get, and then adjust your budget from there. You always have the ability to adjust your budget at a later time, but always start kind of low and move up from there. Now, based on $5 a day, my estimated daily reach is somewhere between 300 and 800 people per day on that. Now, I know statistics according to Facebook state that it generally is 1,000 impressions per click. At $5 a day, you may not get the result you're looking for, so maybe increase it to $10 a day or something to that effect, something that's affordable for you. You don't want to break the bank with it, but you certainly want it to be seen by enough people that's going to generate the clicks and the signups that you're looking for. And again, I named the ad set. Once you've done that, you're simply going to place order. Because you're doing a boosted post, you do not need to edit or change any of the text or the image. It's all there for you already. It's all part of the ad. You don't need to do any of that kind of stuff, and just simply place the order. Now, if you're doing an email campaign to your referral partner prospect list, just like the post on Facebook, you want to give them enough to pique their interest, but not so much they know what it's all about. It's about the benefits, not the features. The email that you're going to send in your campaign, you want to send it at least 3 times. Remember, the average adult in America gets 147 emails per day. That's the average adult in America gets 147 emails per day. You cannot send your invitation one time and assume that people saw it and you got whatever you got from it. You're going to be spinning your wheels. You need to send it a few times to make sure that people saw it, because the first time they may not see it, the second time they may not, or they saw it and deleted it, didn't open it because it's mixed in with all the other clutter of their email. They saw it again, deleted it, because it's mixed in with all the clutter. But the third time you reiterate it and offer it, you've got a better opportunity of getting them to take that bait. It goes back to the sales statistics. 3% of sales happen on the first contact. 90% of sales happen after the third contact. So that's why I say send that email 3 times. Very important note, this is a mistake that I promise you somebody on this call will make, but one that I want to make sure that I point out to you so that you recognize it. Guys, girls, remove those that have RSVP'd from the first email. Like if you send out 1 email and you get 2 people RSVP, pull them off your list before you send it a second time. Pull them off your list before you send it a second time, and then whoever responds or registers on the second one or RSVPs on the second one, pull them off the list for the third one. You don't want them to think that you're disorganized or unorganized or that you don't have your stuff straight, because if they get the invitation again and they've already RSVP'd, it's going to create with them a feeling that you're not organized enough, that this is just going out to everybody and so what. And then what's going to happen is they're not going to show up for your event because you've created a feeling after they've already RSVP'd that you're unorganized. Make sure that you remember to remove those that register from your list so they don't get it again. Very important to remember. And the email would go something like this. Feel free to swipe it, but again, if you want to rewrite it, more than fine. Hello, friends. You are cordially invited to attend a live training on how to use Facebook to farm your neighborhoods. Statistics show that 78% of online adults in America use Facebook. Do you have a social media strategy that works? Join me on Tuesday, January 6th from 12 to 1 at Positano's Italian Restaurant on Tampa Road. I will be showing you step by step exactly how to use Facebook to farm your neighborhoods. This event is limited to 15 seats. Again, I'm giving that, showing exclusivity there. To save your seat, please RSVP at paulb@mortgagemastermindgroup.com or call me at 747-221-6649. Your friendly lender, Paul Baxter. Nice, easy email. And yeah, that's the same email I would send 3 times. And the reason being is because if they didn't register for it, they're not going to. I'm okay with that. It's a way for me to get my name in their mailbox again. And if it is something that they may eventually register for, my thought is that they never saw it the first time, and I need to send them that again to get them to go ahead and take the action step of registering. And then there is the good old-fashioned belly-to-belly invite, which I love. I'm a people person. I love getting out. I love meeting new people. I like shaking hands. I like kissing babies. I like hanging out. I just like to be around people. I'm a people person. It's just about who I am. I'm glad you like that picture, Jeff. Well, you know what? I used to not be, but I am now the belly on the right. Yeah, I used to not be, but quitting smoking has certainly changed my body. You know what? I'll take the changed body over the smoking any day of the week. That's all I'm saying about it. But, you know, with quitting smoking, my body has certainly turned into the sumo wrestler looking thing over here. So I'm the guy on the left now. But belly to belly, you can invite agents when you go to open houses. So I know several of you on this call are working the open house survival kit strategy. Why not invite that agent that's there to come to your live presentation? You can invite agents at the local association events. So if you're going to a local association Christmas party this week to share cocktails and just schmooze and shake hands and kiss babies, you can invite those agents that you meet to your event. You can invite agents that are at closings you attend. You've got a buyer and a seller agent at the closings. Those are 2 agents that you can invite to your events and really get a good opportunity, get an opportunity to kind of schmooze with them. You can go to real estate offices and invite the agents. That's my favorite because it gets you out and about. It gets you meeting new people. It gets you in front of everybody. Okay? Prepare a simple handout about your event. And the reason I like to prepare a simple handout, even though I'm going to verbally invite them, even though I'm going to verbally invite them, I want to give them a handout because what the handout does is it breaks the ice. Now, you guys think about this. My guess is most of you have been to Vegas. And the last time you were in Vegas, you're walking down the street, and everywhere you go in Las Vegas, they're trying to reach you, trying to hand you something. As you're walking down the street, they're trying to hand you something. It's not always the most scrupulous of things that they're trying to hand you, but sometimes it's coupons to restaurants or a free drink to the local club or, you know, whatever it is. They're always trying to hand you, put some piece of paper in your hand. The natural reaction when someone is handing something to us is to take it. That's just what human beings naturally do. When you're standing there, somebody goes to hand you something, we take it. That's just how it is. It happens when you walk in the grocery store, at Publix, and they want to hand you their little coupon book. They reach out to hand it to you. Even though we've already got it rolled up in the purse, we've been looking at it from Sunday's paper, when we walk in the door, we still take that from them. That's the natural reaction to do so. Have that flyer in your hand and hand it to them. Their natural reaction is to take it. Whether they look at it or not is no big deal, but what you're trying to do is break the ice. And what's happening at the same time is that simple act of taking something out of your hand by accepting, you're handing me something and I accept it from you, that's the first commitment. I just committed to taking that piece of paper from you, and then you present me with your invitation. You present me with the same kind of invitation that you would in an email. Hey, Mr. Agent, I'm going to be teaching a class on Tuesday, January 6th over at Positano's Italian Restaurant from noon to 1 o'clock. I'm going to be talking about how to use Facebook to farm an area. Now, I don't know if you use much social media or not, but man, 78% of online adults in America are active on Facebook. And this is a really great strategy that actually works on helping you market yourself and farm your neighborhood on Facebook. I'm keeping it really, really short, only about 10, 15 seats. Can I put you down and save a seat for you? That's just my face. It's the same information that's on my little flyer that I handed them. But I handed them that flyer because I'm looking to get them to make that simple act of accepting it from me and giving me that light little commitment. Now, because they've committed to one thing, even if it's subconsciously committed to taking that flyer from me, it makes that next commitment much easier to do. It makes it easier for them to say, yes, I'd love to, because they've already committed to one thing. Why not commit to the other? It's much easier, and that's a subconscious thing. That's one of those little ninja tricks, and you know, you don't want to use it for bad, only use it for good. That's, you know, that's how we do. But it's one of those little ninja things that you can do that helps you subconsciously get those people to make that commitment to accept your flyer and then accept your invitation. And just use PowerPoint to make your handout. It's pretty simple to do, and I got a little sample here, and I'm going to leave the PowerPoint for just one brief second because I just want to show you. I created this as I was going through on PowerPoint. All I did is, first things first, I went to Design, I went to Slide Size, Custom Slide Size, and I made it 8.5 by 11, which is your regular flyer size. I then selected my little template. As you can see, I'm using this blue one right here, and then I used the variation of orange. All I did was type in the name of my class. I put one little graphic in there, which I would probably change this graphic because I don't like the way the little white box fits in there. Maybe I can come in here, remove background a little bit, stretch this out and see if it will remove the whole background. Nope, it's going to take the words out if I do this. So I'm just going to leave that alone because, as you can see, it's going to take everything out except for the jar. So I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to leave that alone for now. I've got Tuesday, January 6th, 12 to 1 p.m., Positano's Italian Restaurant, limited to 15 seats. To RSVP, email me or call me at presented by Paul Baxter Financial, and my phone number again. Very simple, very short and sweet, just has the pertinent information. What is the size in inches? And that's what I'm using here, my friend, is inches. So for me, I've always looked at like a flyer is 8.5 by 11. 8.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. That's always been like that traditional flyer size for me. And so that's what you're using with PowerPoint. When you go to resize, they do everything in inches. So you just have to type in 8.5 and then type in the 11 and click OK. And that makes it 8.5 by 11. Okay, and as you can see, the view we're looking at is only at 63%. So in real time, at 100%, this is an actual full-size flyer, right? and it looks good. It's nice and easy. It's a lot harder to throw away than most other things. It's got some color. It's got some pop to it. It's, you know, it's going to catch their attention. But again, I'm not using this thinking that they're going to sign up off of this. This is just my giveaway, my handout, my remembrance, my takeaway from me inviting you face to face. It's also something that I can leave with the receptionist at a local real estate office. It's something that I can leave a stack of on a chair with the broker, or if I've got a meeting with the broker, I can share it with the broker and say, hey, you know, you want to give these out to your agents. Any way you slice it, you're able to get that out there. And having that little flyer, again, it's more about breaking the ice and getting them to take something from you. That's a commitment, and that makes it easier to get them to commit to the other thing that you want them to do by giving them that flyer, okay? So have that little flyer as a handout and do your belly-to-belly, and golly, I meant to have my script in here the same way I just read it to you. I don't have the script on here, but the script for inviting them belly to belly is exactly like the script in approaching a partner. Instead of at the end, you're just going to cut it short. So my approach to inviting somebody face to face is, again, and I'll read through it real quick. Let me get back to my page here. All right, so inviting face-to-face, you hand them the flyer. Hey, man, I'm going to be doing this presentation on how to use Facebook to farm your neighborhood. Statistics show us that 78% of online users in America are active on Facebook. And so what this does is it gives you a really cool strategy that actually works for farming a neighborhood and using social media to do so. I'm going to be doing it on Tuesday, January 6th from noon to 1 o'clock over at Positano's Italian Restaurant on Tampa Road. I've only got 15 seats available for it. Can I save you one of those seats? It's your information. Again, I gave them, I told them what I was doing. I'm teaching a class on how to use Facebook to farm to their neighborhood. I gave them the benefit because 78% of Americans are active online, and you need a strategy. You need a strategy to market to them. That's the benefit of coming to my presentation on how to farm with Facebook. I gave them the details. It's going to be Tuesday, January 6th from noon to 1 at Positano's Restaurant. And then I ask them for their commitment. I ask for that commitment. I've only got 15 seats available. Can I save one for you? That's an RSVP right then and there. Now, very key important thing is to keep track of all your RSVPs. One of the things that we went over on, I want to say Wednesday of last week, or maybe even the week before, one of the first classes we talked about presentations on, we talked about your tracking sheets. We talked about the importance. It's one of the first things we covered. Before we even talked about what you're presenting, we talked about tracking the people who come, how to have a follow-up. That was all part of the follow-up plan, and tracking. It is very important not only to track your attendees, but do the same thing with your RSVPs. This is a great way to grow your list. And here's the thing you have to remember. Even if they do not show up after they RSVP, they see you as an expert. They wanted to be there, and they see that you're an expert on farming your neighborhood with Facebook because you've told them that you are. They didn't make it to your class, but you've still created that feeling that you know more about social media marketing, Facebook marketing, whatever it is that you're presenting on. You've shown them that you know more about it than them, and that feeling sticks in their mind. Even if they didn't show up, you want to follow up with them because you can still develop a relationship with those people. You can still get a one-on-one opportunity even if they didn't show up to your class, because you've instilled within them a feeling that you're an expert. You've already differentiated yourself. Make sure that you leverage that feeling you've created into what it is that your goal is, and that's to get loans. How do you get loans? By developing a relationship and asking for the business from your referral partners. That's what it gives you an opportunity to do. So make sure that you're tracking your RSVPs as well as your attendees. So what do you do with the RSVPs? Well, guys, that's what tomorrow's class is going to be all about, is how to put your RSVP, your RSVP follow-up plan together. We're going to talk about when they RSVP, what do you do? Do you send them something to, hey, thanks for checking, thanks for registering, your seat is now saved? How far in advance of the class do you do a confirmation, either call or email? Is it best to do a confirmation call or is it best to do a confirmation email? Which one's going to work best for your situation or for you specifically? Me personally, I'm a big fan of the confirmation phone call, but the confirmation phone call can have a downside to it. We're going to talk about all that tomorrow and exactly how to, confirm your RSVPs and take the opportunity during your confirmation to leverage again, to brand yourself as an expert, to differentiate yourself, and to begin the process of bonding and relationship building right off the bat. So that's it for today. Did not quite take up the full hour. I thought it might, but I'm glad it did not. That gives us plenty of time for any questions you guys may have about how to promote your presentations. Now that we're going to start doing presentations, here's how you promote them. Does anybody have any questions about what we covered today on promoting, or any questions from the past classes on presentations that we've covered? We've got a good 12 minutes here that we can cover those questions. And I'm popping open the question box now. Congrats on quitting smoking. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, my friend. Now you need to do to cancel all the toxins that are produced from this big move. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's actually, we were talking about, my wife and I were having a very, very serious conversation last night about, the New Year's is coming up. I was able to accomplish last year's New Year's resolution by quitting smoking. This year's New Year's resolution, I believe, and well, I'm going to put it out there, and that'll make me commit to it. So I'll go ahead and put it out there, and I know it's on a recording, so I know somebody on this call is going to hold my feet to the fire on it. My New Year's resolution this year is going to be getting myself back into shape. I want to be in the same shape I was when I was 25 and I played on 3 softball teams and I went jogging every day. I want to get myself back into shape. So that's my goal this year, Jeff, is now that I have quit smoking, my body is not liking it so much, but that whole thing I feel like is behind me. I don't have the cravings anymore. It's not something that I think about very often, and now I could focus on getting myself healthy. All right, James got a great question here. Should you stage attendees at the presentation in case no one shows up, or do you cancel the event if no one does an RSVP? That is a really good question. If no one RSVPs, and the reality of it is the first couple of times you do a presentation, depending on how you choose to promote it, what my recommendation would be is don't leave it up to your co-sponsors if you're going to go that route, and leave it up to them to get people in the seat, especially if it's the first time, because people don't know you yet. They don't know what you're capable of presenting, or they don't know about you. So, and the reality is the first one may only be a couple of people. So that being the case, make sure that you're incorporating a couple of these different methods to invite people. And on your first couple of them, start with people that you know. Start with people that like you already, that trust you already. Start with inviting people that know you, just to get a couple of people in the seats so that you know you're going to have at least 2 or at least 3 attendees. I think that's what you mean by stage attendees at the presentation. And if that's what you refer to it, then yeah, you may want to do that on your first couple of them. Don't just rely on your Facebook ad to make sure you've got 8 or 9 or 10 people. Because the reality of it is when you first get started with this, it will be difficult to get up to 10 people into a room. The more you do it, the more attendees you're going to have. I know a guy that when he started this, his first presentation had 2 agents total. Second presentations, the same 2 agents total. The third presentation, the same 2 agents total. The fourth presentation, the same 2 agents, but this time they brought a third agent, and they had 1 additional show up. And then from there, it started to kind of catch a life of its own. It started to really bring people, people started talking about it. One guy mentions it, another guy shows up. When 5 get there, that's when it starts to get that viral effect. And now he has a maximum seating of 20 at his presentations, and he has a waiting list to get into his presentations every single time he does them now. But we're talking about a year and a half later. So I can't stress enough how important it is to not get discouraged if you don't have a bunch of people show up at your first presentation. Don't sweat it. Consistency breeds credibility. Credibility breeds trust. That's awesome, Jim. Thank you. You're supposed to email me something on that, Jeff, if you could, and maybe you did and I didn't. I lost it. If you could re-email me, that'd be awesome. What kind of media will you use to do your presentations? Laptop, projector? My recommendation on that, and that kind of goes back, Bill. We talked about a little bit of it in the extras the other day when we talked about the presentation types, and then we talked about the extras of your presentations. A laptop computer is cool, but remember, even with 10 people, it's very hard for all 10 people to be able to see that. A projector is always going to be your best bet, and there are projectors now that you can connect just to, you just hook them up to your laptop computer and they project, and they're great and they work, but they're a little bit pricey. First things, you can rent them from some of your local, from like a Best Buy, I believe, rents them. I want to say Staples rents them also. Check with your local electronic shops and find out if there is a rental opportunity available for you. You can also check with, if you're co-sponsoring with your title reps or with your insurance reps, check with them and see if they have a projector as well. I'm not saying run out and buy one, but you definitely need something that projects the image to a larger image. On top of that, part of what we talked about in the extras is making sure that you make a printout of your presentation and hand it to every person that's attending. Goes back to what we were talking about with the flyer just a little bit ago, that handout, that acceptance of the handout. First and foremost, it gives them a takeaway, which is a reminder of what you presented and a reminder of who presented it. But the other thing is you'll be able to look and see who's actually engaged with what you're presenting during your presentation based on, are they flipping through this presentation that you handed them with you. That's always a good thing to know who's engaged and who's not. So the answer to your question is a laptop is not the best option just because it's, even with just 10 people, it's hard to see that. So try to get a projector, whether it be through a rental or borrow one or use your partner's, but always, no matter how what media you're presenting with, always give them that printed out handout to take away with them, because that's the thing that's that keeper's sake, that's that remembrance, that's, hey, this is how Bill made me feel. Can you get this guy on the program here one day? Sounds like a good program. I'm not sure, Bill, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Can you get this guy on the program here one day? Sounds like a good program. Not sure what you're referring to. Oh, absolutely. You know what? I've reached out, and I'm referring to Richard Smith. He is actually part of our contributing faculty. We just haven't been able to pin down a time that works for all of us. And I know, Bill, you've probably, through other coaches that are available to mortgage lenders, I believe you've probably heard Richard present on his presentations, but he has a waiting list these days. Yes, Peggy, I am. I've had I just haven't had a chance to put that together yet. Yes, I am. If putting on a presentation like this to demonstrate a particular topic to help the agent, how do you recommend we give them a taste of what we can do for a realtor? Should we have something prepared or go for a separate meeting after the presentation? That's going to be a separate meeting after the presentation, Jim. That's going to be a separate meeting after the presentation. You want to save that kind of stuff, you know, what you can do for that particular agent for when you, in your follow-up, in your one-on-one opportunity. That's your bonding, that's your one-on-one thing, that you're going to save that until you get that chance to be one-on-one and face-to-face with that person. Oh, by the way, I can help you because, and you go into, you know, the things that you do that can help them in growing their business. But that's an individual thing. You don't want to, you know, you're going to present things that are going to help the agents grow their business in your presentations, and that's awesome. But use your follow-up to specifically differentiate exactly how you can help that specific real estate agent. Make sense? All right, boys and girls, that is it for me for today. Tomorrow's class, again, we're going to be talking about, let me pull my page up here. We're going to be talking about your plan for when they RSVP, exactly what to do and how to begin to leverage and brand yourself and start the beginning process of bonding and relationship building right off the bat with your RSVP follow-up plan. And that's it for me for today. I hope you guys learned a little something. I appreciate each and every one of you being here today. I look forward to seeing you right back here, same time, same channel tomorrow. Have a great day. Wait, something popped in while I was going. Yes, absolutely. Yes, sir. Jeff, call me at, yes, just give me a shout. Yes, indeed. All right, boys and girls, have a fantastic rest of your day. We will see you on the flip side. Bye now.